Okay, so March Madness. You know, it just like completely takes over every year for what feels like weeks.
It really does.
Even if you're like someone who's just kind of casually into basketball,
Yeah.
there's just something about filling out those brackets, right?
Ah, oh, for
Like
sure.
everyone just gets sucked into it and you have that dream of maybe getting every single pick right.
It's that one in a whatever chance.
Yeah, when you actually hear those odds, like 1 in 9.2 quintillion for a perfect bracket.
It's mind-boggling.
It's just wild, right?
Yeah.
It really hits you just how unpredictable this whole tournament is.
Yeah, that number isn't just, some fun fact to throw around. It,
Yeah.
it really highlights just how much randomness there is in the tournament. Like, it's built in.
Yeah,
I mean, even people who live and breathe college basketball, 24/7, 365, haven't cracked the code of a perfect bracket.
exactly. And it makes you wonder if, like, the way we as humans approach this,
Yeah.
all our stats and gut feelings and, maybe bias towards our favorite teams,
Uh-huh.
if that's just inherently limited. So for this deep dive, we're tackling a pretty interesting question.
Okay.
Can we use something totally different to try to do what we've never been able to do?
Okay. I like where this is going.
Can artificial intelligence predict a perfect March Madness bracket?
That is the question, isn't it? Can AI, with its ability to process these huge data sets
Right.
and
Right.
spot patterns that we might miss, can it outsmart March Madness? Because let's face it, it's kind of organized chaos, right?
Totally. So we've been looking at some discussions on this, right, about testing an AI algorithm and how it did predicting this year's tournament.
Exactly. Yeah, the 2025 tournament.
Okay, so let's zero in on this whole perfect bracket thing.
Okay.
It's this, like, mythical quest in the sports world, right?
It is. It's like the Holy Grail.
Every year, millions of people are filling these things out, hoping against hope.
Against all odds.
Even though we know deep down those first-round upsets are probably going to happen.
Oh, yeah, lurking right around the corner.
Ready to just destroy
Oh,
everything.
absolutely.
So why do we even do this?
I think because, well, March Madness is practically defined by those moments.
Totally.
Those moments where everything gets flipped on its head, you know?
Like UMBC.
Exactly. UMBC, a 16 seed, taking down Virginia, a number 1 seed.
Never forget.
Like, statistically, that almost shouldn't happen.
Right.
And then you have those Cinderella runs like St. Peter's making it to the Elite Eight.
So good.
These aren't just little surprises. They completely change everything.
Yeah.
I mean, brackets are busted instantly, the vast majority of them.
For sure.
It's part of the fun, you know?
Uh,
A huge part of the tournament's appeal is that it's so unpredictable.
and those moments are what make you think, like, if all of our human intuition
Mm-hmm.
and years of watching basketball could be thrown off by these upsets,
Yeah.
could an AI do better?
Interesting.
Could it see things we miss because it's just looking at the data, you know?
Right, without all emotion.
Yeah, without our biases and all that.
So that's exactly what we're looking at.
Oh,
Like,
but-
how does AI even begin to predict sports?
Right, because it seems impossible.
Well, it starts with a ton of data.
Okay.
And I mean, a truly massive amount. We're talking player stats, team performance over multiple seasons, injuries, travel schedules even.
Wait, hold on. Even travel schedules?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And get this, they even look at social media sometimes.
What? Really?
Yeah, to try and gauge the team's morale.
So they're trying to read between the lines.
In a way, yeah, it's a scale of data collection that we as humans could never do.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So it's not just like points and rebounds. They're trying to get the whole picture.
Right, it's about understanding those more intangible aspects too.
That's really interesting. Okay, so what happens with all this data?
Well, the second step is the AI teaching itself, basically.
Okay.
It uses these algorithms, sets of rules, to go through all that data from past tournaments.
Okay.
It's looking for trends and patterns, anything that might correlate with wins, losses, upsets, you name it.
It's searching for those little clues hidden in the data.
Precisely, it's not just looking at the numbers, it's learning how those numbers played out before.
Wow. Okay, so it's learning from history to try and predict the future.
Exactly. And then the last stage is where it uses what it's learned to figure out the probabilities for each game in the tournament.
So like who's most likely to win each matchup?
Right. And then the AI runs simulations, tons of them, of the entire tournament.
Oh, wow.
And each simulation has little variations based on those probabilities.
So it's like playing out the tournament thousands of times in a computer.
Yeah, exactly. And from all those simulations, it can kind of see the most likely scenarios and make its predictions.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, can all of that really account for the chaos of March Madness?
Right.
You know, the Cinderella stories, the buzzer beaters, all that stuff. that makes it so exciting and so unpredictable?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. That's why this whole thing is so fascinating to look at.
It really is. Okay, so let's get to the experiment. This AI algorithm that tried to predict the 2025 tournament.
All right, let's dive in.
So this company, let's call them Bracket Brain AI.
All right, bracket branding A it is.
They sent their algorithm loose on this hypothetical 2025 tournament.
They did.
What did it say? What did it see happening?
All right, so after crunching all that data and running millions of simulations, Bracket Brain AI predicted that the final four in 2025 would be
Drum roll, please.
insert teams.
Wow, insert teams. That's a really interesting mix.
It is.
I know a lot of the early predictions from like the human analysts have some different teams in there.
Yeah, there are definitely some surprises.
Okay, so what about the big one? Who did the AI pick to win it all?
Well, based on its analysis and all those simulations, Bracket Brain AI predicted that the 2025 NCAA men's basketball champion will be
Oh, come on, don't leave me hanging.
insert team.
Insert team, wow.
Yeah, and remember, this isn't just a random guess.
Right.
This is based on what the AI determined was the highest statistical probability of winning.
It's a data-driven prediction.
Exactly.
Insert team is the champion. That's a bold prediction.
It is.
I can already picture people debating this, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
So how does this pick compare to what some of the human experts are saying?
That's a great question because, everyone has their favorites and their dark horses this early on.
Exactly.
So looking at some early predictions from, well-respected analysts, we do see some differences. For example, one expert is predicting insert team to win it all,
Okay.
while another has insert team as their early favorite.
So the AI is going against at least one of those big names right off the bat.
Yeah, it is, and that's what makes this so compelling.
It really is. It makes you think about what the AI is seeing that maybe we aren't.
Right. What factors is it weighing so heavily to pick insert team?
Yeah. Is it their performance in close games, or how efficient they are on offense and defense,
Maybe
or their strength of schedule leading up to the tournament?
could be all of those things. It could
Right.
be these subtle trends that favor teams like insert team historically.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's projecting how they'll perform based on their regular season data and how similar teams have done in the past.
Wow. It's like this super in-depth analysis that we could never do on our own.
Exactly. It's way too much for our human brains to handle.
Okay, so the data analysis is really impressive.
It is.
But we can't forget about the human side of things, can we?
No, we can't.
We've talked about numbers and algorithms, but March Madness is more than just stats.
It's about the stories, the heart, the moments.
Those crazy upsets where a team just wants it more.
Yes.
Those games that come down to the last second, a single shot,
The buzzer beaters.
and just the whole emotional roller coaster.
Right. The players, the coaches, the fans, everyone's going through it.
So as good as AI is at crunching data, can it really predict those human moments?
That's a big limitation for sure.
Yeah, can it know when a player is going to step up and have the game of their life under pressure?
It's hard to say.
Can it predict when a team, no one expects anything from just clicks and goes on a run?
Right.
It feels like there's this magic to March Madness that AI just can't fully grasp.
That unpredictability, that's where AI falls short.
Yeah, you can feed it all the data about 12 seeds versus 5 seeds.
Uh-huh.
But can it really tell you when a player is going to catch fire and lead their team to an upset?
It's tough because so much of it comes down to heart and hustle, and those things are hard to quantify.
Exactly. So this whole experiment with AI and March Madness isn't just about who gets more picks, right?
A bigger question.
Yeah, it's about how much we can really predict when human emotion plays such a huge role.
It makes you think about the limits of what we can know, even with all this technology.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI and the perfect bracket,
Yeah.
the question for you listening is this.
Okay.
Do you believe that AI can finally do what we never could and predict a perfect March Madness bracket?
Or is the magic of March Madness going to stay unpredictable, even with all the data in the world?
What do you think?
And to add to that,
Sure.
the discussions we've been looking at mentioned a really cool opportunity. There's a free bracket challenge where you can actually go up against the AI.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can see how your picks stack up against its bracket.
So cool.
It's a fun way to test your own intuition,
Totally.
and really experience the unpredictability of the tournament.
For sure.
And it makes you think about what factors you're using to make your picks.
Absolutely. So while AI is this incredible tool for analyzing sports,
It is powerful.
the beauty of March Madness might be that it's never fully predictable.
Right.
There's always that space where the data and algorithms just don't tell the whole story.
That element of surprise.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe the real joy of March Madness isn't about getting it all right.
Interesting.
Maybe it's about embracing the upsets and the
The
craziness.
chaos.
Exactly, because that's what makes it so much fun to watch.
That's a great point. Something to think about for sure.
Yeah, for sure.